What's up, guys? Mr. Beast here, and today we're diving into a world shrouded in darkness, a world of abandoned prisons. These buildings once overflowed with the worst humanity had to offer, and now they sit empty. Or are they? Get ready to explore the top 10 abandoned prisons that are as captivating as they are bone-chilling. These aren't just empty buildings. They're time capsules of suffering, punishment, and some say pure evil. Our first stop takes us to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to a place that's basically the granddaddy of all scary prisons, Eastern State Penitentiary. This place was the blueprint for prison design back in the 1800s. They called it a penitentiary because the idea was to make prisoners feel penitent, really sorry for what they did. And how did they do that? By locking them up in solitary confinement. I'm talking total isolation 24/7. The prisoners couldn't talk to each other. They couldn't see each other. They couldn't even leave their cells. Can you imagine the energy that must still be trapped within these walls? Even after Eastern State closed down in 1971, people couldn't shake the feeling that it was still haunted by its past. There have been countless reports of strange noises, shadows moving in the darkness, and even full-on apparitions. Next up, we're heading to the most infamous island prison in the world, Alcatraz. This place is basically synonymous with inescapable. Surrounded by the icy waters of San Francisco Bay, Alcatraz was the ultimate lockup for America's most hardened criminals. Guys like Al Capone and George Machine Gun Kelly called this place home. Alcatraz was known for its brutal conditions, constant surveillance, and the ever-present threat of violence. Escapes were attempted, but none were officially successful. The most famous attempt, in 1962, involved 3 inmates who vanished into thin air. Today, Alcatraz is a popular tourist destination, but you can still feel the weight of its history. Walking through the cell blocks, you can practically hear the clang of cell doors and the whispers of desperate men plotting their escape. Many visitors and park rangers have reported feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, especially around the solitary confinement cells known as the Hole. Get ready to enter a place so haunted it's been featured on Ghost Adventures and served as the setting for the iconic film, The Shawshank Redemption. Welcome to the Ohio State Reformatory, a place where beauty and brutality once coexisted. This prison was designed to inspire hope in its inmates. The architects believed that surrounding them with beauty would encourage them to turn their lives around. Overcrowding, violence, and inhumane conditions turned this place into a living nightmare for the men imprisoned here. Visitors and paranormal investigators have reported countless chilling encounters, from disembodied voices and footsteps to full-on apparitions of former inmates and guards. The most active area is said to be the old solitary confinement cells, where the air is thick with despair. One particular story tells of a former guard who still patrols the grounds, even in death. They say he can be seen walking the cell blocks, his keys jingling in the eerie silence.
Chapter 4. Old Charleston Jail. Secrets buried beneath the Spanish moss.
Our next stop takes us to Charleston, South Carolina, a city steeped in history and haunted by its past.
Here lies the Old City Jail, once home to the South's most notorious criminals.
Built in 1802, it was state-of-the-art, but plagued by overcrowding and disease.
Visitors report cold spots, disembodied voices, and apparitions.
Lavinia Fisher, hanged in 1820, is said to haunt the jail. Despite its dark history, the Old City Jail is now a popular tourist destination. Visitors can take guided tours, learning about its haunted past.
Chapter 5. Bodmin Jail, where legends and terror collide.
Let's journey now to Cornwall, England, a land of rugged coastlines, ancient myths, and a prison that's as steeped in legend as it is in history, Bodmin Jail.
This imposing granite fortress has stood for centuries, bearing witness to the darkest deeds of Cornwall's criminal underworld.
Built in 1779, Bodmin Jail was once the final destination for those condemned to death. It's said that over 55 executions took place within its walls, and the spirits of those who met their end here are said to still roam the grounds.
Today, Bodmin Jail has been transformed into a museum and tourist attraction. But even in its restored state, the jail's dark past is never far from the surface.
As you walk through its corridors, you can't shake the feeling that you're being watched, that the spirits of Bodmin are all around you.
Chapter 6. Kilmainham Jail, the soul of a nation imprisoned.
Our journey takes us now to Dublin, Ireland, to a place that's not just an abandoned prison, but a symbol of Ireland's struggle for independence, Kilmainham Jail.
This imposing granite structure stands as a testament to the countless men and women who were imprisoned and executed here for daring to fight for their country's freedom.
Built in 1796, Kilmainham Jail housed everyone from ordinary criminals to political prisoners.
During Ireland's fight for independence, the jail became a symbol of British oppression. S3. Many Irish revolutionaries, including leaders of the 1916 Easter Rising, were imprisoned and executed here.
The cells are small and Spartan, a stark reminder of the brutal conditions endured by those who were imprisoned here.
Today, the jail is a national monument and museum, a place where visitors can learn about Ireland's turbulent past and honour the sacrifices of those who fought for its freedom.
Hold on to your hats, because we're heading down under to Melbourne, Australia, to a place that was once considered one of the toughest prisons in the Southern Hemisphere, Pentridge Prison.
Known for its brutal conditions and notorious inmates, Pentridge is a place where even the toughest criminals feared to tread.
Built in 1851, Pentridge housed some of Australia's most hardened criminals, including gangster Squizzy Taylor and serial killer Chopper Reed.
The prison was notorious for its harsh punishments, including solitary confinement in tiny dark cells known as the slots.
Life inside Pentridge was brutal and unforgiving. Inmates faced hard labor, meager rations, and frequent beatings from guards.
Today, Pentridge is being redeveloped, but its history is still palpable. Visitors can take guided tours, led by former guards and inmates sharing first-hand experiences.
It's a chilling reminder of human capacity for both cruelty and resilience.
Our journey takes us now to Belfast, Northern Ireland, to a place that's forever linked to the city's turbulent history, Crumlin Road Jail.
For over 150 years, this imposing Victorian prison stood as a symbol of division and conflict, witnessing firsthand the darkest chapters of the Troubles.
In 1981, 10 Republican prisoners died during a hunger strike, further inflaming tensions in the region. S3. Built in 1845, Crumlin Road Jail housed both Loyalist and Republican prisoners during Northern Ireland's violent sectarian conflict.
Today, Crumlin Road Jail is a popular tourist attraction, offering guided tours that provide a glimpse into the prison's history and the stories of those who were imprisoned there.
It's a place of reflection, a reminder of the importance of peace and reconciliation.
Get ready for a chilling journey to Moundsville, West Virginia, to a place that's been called one of the most haunted places on Earth, West Virginia Penitentiary.
This Gothic-style prison, with its imposing stone walls and looming guard towers, has a dark and bloody history that continues to fascinate and terrify.
Built in 1866, West Virginia Penitentiary was designed to be inescapable and unforgiving. It housed some of the state's most violent criminals, and its history is filled with tales of brutality, despair, and death.
Over 90 executions took place within its walls, and the spirits of those who died here are said to still linger.
The air is thick with a palpable sense of dread, and it's not uncommon for visitors to report feeling cold spots, seeing apparitions, and hearing disembodied voices.
West Virginia Penitentiary has been featured on numerous paranormal investigation shows, including Ghost Adventures and Scariest Places on Earth.
Our final destination takes us back to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to a place shrouded in controversy and shrouded in a darkness that runs deeper than most Holmesburg prison.
This imposing fortress, once a symbol of law and order, became infamous for its brutal conditions and the horrific medical experiments conducted on its inmates.
Built in 1896, Holmesburg Prison was designed to be a model of modern penology, but behind its imposing facade, a sinister reality unfolded.
From the 1950s to the 1970s, doctors from nearby universities conducted a series of unethical and inhumane experiments on inmates, often without their consent.
These experiments, which involved exposing inmates to dangerous drugs, chemicals, and radioactive materials, left many with lasting physical and psychological scars.
The prison was finally closed in 1995, but its dark legacy continues to haunt Philadelphia.
From the solitary confinement cells of Eastern State Penitentiary to the chilling history of Holmesburg Prison, we've journeyed through some of the darkest corners of human history. These abandoned prisons stand as grim reminders of the human capacity for both good and evil. What do you think? Are these places simply empty shells, or do they still hold the echoes of the pain and suffering that occurred within their walls? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're brave enough, stick around for next week's video, where we'll be exploring the top 10 abandoned asylums that are guaranteed to give you nightmares. Sweet dreams.